Hello and welcome to another episode from the desk of a Navy wife, where you may or may not hear my kiddos in the background. My name is Raina Worthy, and on this podcast, we like to dive deep into the unique challenges, triumphs, and experiences that come with being a military spouse. So kick back, relax, make that cup of coffee or get that evening dinner ready and just listen to me in the background. Hello, so happy to have you here today listening, whether you're again washing dishes, on the road, making coffee, or getting ready for the evening. Bring this topic to you all, something I have been thinking about since honestly I have been introduced to this world. The third episode is going to be catered around how can you as a military spouse help your transitioning service member. There are some questions I'm going to be dropping down and would love to hear your responses in the comment below or again via an email. But some of them are whether you're not familiar with the TAP program or Transition Assistance Program, how do you envision your spouse's transition out of the military, and have you explored or considered seeking information about that program and what aid is available to you all as military spouses? I'd love to hear your responses. I'm going to be sharing some information as well when it comes to the Transition Assistance Program. This, again, is from personal experience. I was once a facilitator that taught these workshops to service members that were getting out. So I'm going to be talking to you about what the Transition Assistance Program is, what it offers. I'm also going to be sharing with you some resources, some websites that you can take advantage of. I'm going to also discuss some resources when it comes to employment and some further resources when it comes to education. Kicking it off with the first topic on what is TAPS. Okay, what is TAPS? What does that mean? I haven't heard of that before. You may not have heard of it as a military spouse if your service member is still active duty. But if you have a service member that is thinking about separating or is in the process of retiring or knows they're going to retire in a couple of years, I'm going to talk to you about the Transition Assistance Program. It is available to your service member as they transition from active duty to civilian life. So getting ready for a different world out there. And yes, we all know, those of us in the military community, that the military world is different than civilian world. The program, what is the purpose of it? It's designed to provide support, resources. It gives you workshops. It's a whole week full of information that is really unloaded onto your service member. And it's meant to help your service member be successful in their transition and get them ready for the civilian workforce or help them look into pursuing further education. I'm going to talk to you about some key components when it comes to the Transition Assistance Program. It typically includes a pre-separation counseling session that happens between the military service member, where they get to understand their benefits, they get to understand the resources that are available to them during this transition process and things that will be available to them after their transition process. The separation or pre-separation counseling typically is supposed to take place between that service member and then the counselor that is also active duty. Now, I have not heard that as always the case, but they do have a pre-separation counseling with someone. After that, they then go through their transition workshops. Now, that is where I've had experience, and that's where I stepped in. I hosted the workshops. I was the one speaking to them as their facilitator, kind of coaching them through, also being some form of guidance for them. Now, with the workshop, it includes covering topics such as their resume, focusing on rewriting it or starting one for the first time, looking into any job opportunities that were available to them, really strategizing that process. It was interview skills, financial planning, giving them information about benefits and veteran benefits that will take place as well. That was typically within their week. And then they ended it with the ITP, or the Individual Transition Plan. So each service member was to develop a personal plan that would outline their goals, what actions they plan to take to achieve those goals, and then providing a timeline for them as they get ready for that civilian life. Now, those 5 days, they can take advantage of multiple times if they're able to, depending on how far in advance they're prepping for their transition. My personal recommendation to service members that are getting out of the military, attend it 2 years in advance. 2 years in advance or 1 year in advance. You'll find out so much information, you'll feel well prepared, and then you can attend it as much as possible up until, I think, the week that you're leaving, if your command allows you to. I want to share that as a military spouse, right? Because I'm giving you the TAPS, I'm telling you what it's about, but it's like, okay, that's great. Where do I come in? Well, as a military spouse, did you know there's also workshops for you? Probably not, right? Did you also know that you could attend some of these TAP weeks if your spouse is separating or retiring? Probably not. As a spouse, you can come in and you can go to the VA benefits, You can do the financial planning if you'd like, right? Because this is your life as well. Your life is going to be changing also. So it'd be great to take advantage of this. You can work on your resume. You can find out about job opportunities in the area if you plan on PCSing, right, where you're relocating to. There's so much that you can find out in these workshops. But I want to let you know, as a military spouse, there's also other workshops that exist, and it's called Teams. This is also offered by the Department of Labor. So this resource right here, DOL.gov, check it out, and you can discover that there are military spouse workshops for you. Now, with Teams, it stands for the Transition Employment Assistance for Military Spouses. I encourage you to attend those workshops, every single one of them. Okay. They also have a new workshop where they work with the Small Business Administration. You have so many workshops that you can go online and register for them in advance. And if you have questions and everything, they also have some contact information. What I love about it is that, and this may be because I'm biased, okay, I was there when these workshops first got launched. So I used to teach these workshops and I loved them. And I felt like there was so much information that military spouses didn't know about, or they didn't even know these workshops existed. And I needed to tell the world. So here I am telling you, military spouse to military spouse, there's workshops for you. Take advantage of them. Now, all these workshops, except for one of them, are 2 hours. What I love about this is that they have them in different time zones. You can view these online, live, with facilitators, where you can ask questions. So there's some in CET, JST, which is Japan or Asia. They also have some in Europe. And then, of course, your Eastern time zone as well. Please take advantage of this. I just wanted to plug that out there for you. Before I get back into the transition assistance program, there are workshops for you. Back to TAPS in the preparation phase. There is crucial steps that I encourage your spouse to take with you to be successful for this transition. There are 3 important aspects I want to spend some time talking to you about. The first is going to be career planning and employment readiness. The second is going to be financial planning and budgeting. And then the third one is education and training opportunities over the next few minutes here. So as part of your preparation, there's resume building. Help your spouse translate those military skills that they have and those experiences they have into civilian-friendly language. You're a spouse. You know what terms are used in the civilian world. If they're giving you numbers and letters, 9 times out of 10, a company is not going to know what they're saying. And so you're kind of helping them draft what the other words can be. Also, resources that they will find out about in their workshop will help them to translate their military skills. But as a spouse, this is where you can come in to kind of support as well. Job search strategies, looking up techniques, going onto online job boards that your spouse may not heard about because maybe they've been in here since they were 19 or 20 and they've been a while since they've seen what job boards are. Or maybe they are seasoned and so they're like, I'm used to going into a place and applying and seeing if they're hiring. With the world changing and going towards technology, they'll learn that they have to go online and do that now. This is why that resume is important. Then interview skills. That's the third way you can kind of help them to prep for the civilian world. Practice those interview techniques with them. Look up some questions online, look up some questions on LinkedIn. Be that employer and help them to effectively communicate their skills, what they've learned in the military and how that transitions or translates to the civilian role that they're interested in. So that falls under career planning and employment readiness when this preparation phase is taking place. With financial planning and budgeting, both of you get together, help to develop a budget and manage those finances. Understand that there's going to be a different pay structure between military and civilian life. If your significant other is interested in going to federal employment, they have their own way and letters and numbers for jobs. They're going to want to check out opm.gov if they're interested in federal employment. That'll break it down, the GS levels. There's also NS levels. And then you just have your typical organizations, not-for-profit and companies where they're just going to break down what the pay would be in some instances. Help with planning that and expenses that will come, healthcare costs that will come, and any other financial responsibilities that you all may have not had to think about for a while. Because again, we're transitioning. We're in a whole new chapter of our lives. There's separation pay in some cases, benefits. Do they have the GI Bill for education, your healthcare option? Attend financial planning workshops. Not only does it take place in the transition assistance program week, you also 9 times out of 10 have a financial advisor already located at your installation in Fleet and Family Support. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to talk about debt management. Also take advantage of some type of workshops or talking to some advisors there. These are just suggestions on that preparation phase. The third one, education and training opportunities. Look up ways to enhance your skills and your significant other's skills. in getting those certifications. I've talked about Coursera before in a previous. I talked about Act Now Education in a previous. Other ways that they can enhance their skills are LinkedIn, creating that LinkedIn profile, getting in there, taking advantage of those skills that are offered there. They can do that as well. Then education benefits, seeing what is available to them either through the GI Bill or what's outside of the GI Bill. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you all. Have them, if they're interested in going back to school, hopefully they are thinking about this transition 2 years out, start attending now. If they're able to, have them start enrolling and attending school now. And you too, take advantage of taking some online courses so that you feel more prepped and ready when that transition does take place. And you've already been able to develop your skills or your education. And lastly, we have, of course, the career path exploration. So researching the potential career paths, looking up those industries, looking up further education and training that may align with your career goals. Take advantage of resources and the time that you have now to do that research. Potential career paths under LinkedIn, a lot of groups that exist that can be your specific career path that you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in human resources, type in human resources in LinkedIn and see what groups exist. See what companies hire for positions. There's so much out there that sometimes you may feel like you have to dig. And that's all I have for you all today. I know it's really brief. I plan to drop all of the resources I can think of and that I have researched in my description. And also, if you can think of any as well, feel free to drop those in comments or shoot me an email and I can add it on later as well. I wanted to share these 3 elements: career planning, financial preparation, and education and training, so that it can help you and your transitioning service member get ready for that civilian life. Thank you all again for tuning in this week. I look forward to bringing you resources, support, and laughter. Sending my love from the desk of a Navy wife.